welcome to the channel. Welcome if you are new. And welcome to June the 6th. This is one of the few military things that I think that I would even attempt to try and do. This is the first flight of the Pathfinders today. And today's flight is going to be rather unusual, especially when you consider the usual airline flights that we do. And hello, I did say welcome to the channel. Welcome if you are new. I hope you're having a great day today. At 1900 Zulu, we're going to be taking off on airplanes just like this. This is the C47, also known as the DC-3. And there is a really cool enhancement for the DC-3 that seems to be that makes this airplane a lot more complex. I still have an awful lot to learn about this airplane, but today we are doing the Pathfinder flight from Operation Neptune. Our plan is Plan Boston. This is a real-world flight plan, and I think we ought to probably just go ahead and start to jump right in and take a look at some of the information on this particular flight. We are not taking off from Archbury. Archbury was a fictional airport that we used to use over in X-Plane. Can't even get X-Plane going right now, so we're taking off from Oxford, and our flight plan takes us from Oxford to waypoints named Austin and Elko and Flatbush and Gallup. Those were some of the code names that they gave to the checkpoints that we're going to be following as we go through today's flight plan. This is going to be altitudes and speeds. Now, I'm including the full screen graphics here so that you can go and copy these over if you would like. Plus, I've also got a fairly extensive little text file that I also made available yesterday. Here is the text file that I did, and this is the entire flight plan. So let's talk about how you could use this flight plan and get some flight planning in your system too. If you look at the very bottom of this, so here's all of our checkpoints right here. I do have a few things that we need to change here, but these also give you bearings and frequencies to real-world current VORs that we're going to be able to use for our navigation today. And then here's the other checkpoints here, but you see at the bottom of this page, there are raw coordinates that you can plug into your flight plan, and that's stuff that you can use for SkyVector and also Navigraph. Speaking of Navigraph, so here is our flight plan, and this is what it looks like as far as Navigraph would be concerned. This is about a 3+ hour flight today. So we're going to go a fair distance, and we're not going to be going very far. This is a 440 nautical mile route that we're taking in an old DC-3. So 3 hours, block time is 3 hours and 36 minutes for today's flight. So let's take a look over at SkyVector. This is an incredibly good tool to be able to use to see weather, but also to be able to see exactly what the flight plan is. And if you look over here on the left, you see the waypoints boxes. Those are those exact waypoints that I've included in the text file. So all you have to do is do a departure airport of Oxford, EGTK, and a destination airport of Oxford. We're taking off and landing from the same airport, and then plug in all of those latitudes and longitudes, and it gives you the exact flight plan that they were flying back on June the 6th. As far as weather, it looks like weather is going to be fairly nice. We are going to have a little bit of a breeze. It's the typical breezes, but it doesn't look like it's going to be too terribly windy as we go and do this. Now, if you decide to take all of this data and plug it into SkyVector, be sure and click the Navlog tab, and you can go down here, and the Navlog will also give you distances to the fix. Personally, I'm going to kind of politely suggest that maybe you might rather use this part of the flight log here in the text plan, because what this is going to do is I do need to change the first one here from Archbury. We're not going to the fictional airport, we're going to a real one, but the heading is about the same. So to get to from Archbury to get to Austin, we'll dial in the DTY VOR, and we'll go about 042 degrees for 14 nautical miles. And so this will give you an idea. Altitudes. Okay, altitudes were kind of a big deal for all of this too. So going out, they did have radar back then, so you had to fly below the radar. So from Elko to Flatbush, it's 1,500 and 1,000 feet, but then outbound over water, 500 feet. Okay, and 140 miles an hour. They expected you to maintain an airspeed because they had to do separation, and we didn't have GPS in those days. Now, at the IP, okay, so the IP is the point basically when you're starting to make the turn over the Channel Islands and you're coming in over that little tip of France that you see there. Okay, 1,500 feet, and then at 140. Then you slow to 110 knots for the drop zone, and that's 700 feet. And then basically outbound, it's 100 feet and 150 miles an hour. They want to get you out of there as quick as possible. And then 3,000 feet from Gallup all the way back in to our landing airport. So we got all that information right there. Weather today in Oxford is not so bad, 060 degrees at 10 knots. It is overcast, though, in Oxford. Cherbourg is the nearest airport that I can give you to our actual drop zone. And the winds there is 060 at 13. It is broken at 1,400. So it looks like it's going to probably be an okay day for the drop zone. But coming back on in is, it's going to be cloudy. So even though they didn't have an ILS, we do have an ILS that we can use to come back in. And so you can go ahead and dial this in. It's 108.35. We are taking off. This is interesting. We're taking off on runway 1, but when we come back, we're landing on runway 19. Okay, so landing on runway 19. So you can dial in the ILS. You want to be coming in about 3,500 feet. Platform altitude is 1,800 feet. Minimums 517 feet above sea level. I think we're going to see minimums just fine. It shouldn't be a kind of a problem. Now then, this is a little bit complex for what we usually do. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be also just on the monitor off to the side. I'm going to end up having the tracking going on here. So one of the things that I'll do is I'm going to have the little purple triangle here, and I'm going to be able to use this just to kind of help make sure that we're all ready to go. And that I'm where it is that I'm supposed to be. So that's kind of what it is that we've got going on for today. It's an unusual flight. This is the original Pathfinder flight. If you also were to go and take a look at some of the information here on the text file, one of the things is if you want to take a look at the bottom of the of this text file, I included a couple of links. One link is to the Drop Zone Normandy video, which is actually pretty good. It's something that I believe that they produced after D-Day, but then there's the D-Day documents. There is an incredible amount of documentary, actual flight orders and flight plans and the order of the day and all sorts of documents from D-Day that is available online right now. And then there is also another great video, too, of the DAX departing Duxford. And that is a video. So they called, over in the UK, they called the airplane that we're going to be flying today, they called them Dakotas or DAX. And this was an incredibly cool video from just a few years ago of a bunch of these amazing airplanes. So I still have an awful lot left that I've got to learn about this airplane. The startup procedure on this is not like it was in any other C47. So, you're actually having to spin some of these big hydraulic valves, and then you actually have to pump up your hydraulics so that you can go and open up your cowl flaps. So there is one video out there that I'm watching. Apocalypse Please has suggested that the online checklist that comes with the airplane is a good one to use too. So I've got to look at that and learn how to fly the airplane. That's what I've got for you today. It's an unusual flight, so this is an unusual video. I hope that some of this helps. I hope that some of the links in the description below are going to help you as well, too. I will look forward to seeing you at 1900 Zulu. I, of course, need to say a special thank you, as I always do, to the secret agents, the special agents, and the double O's. Thank you for the incredible legendary support and keeping all this going. I will look forward to seeing you at 1900 Zulu at Oxford. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay safe, and please keep the sheep off the runway.